it's great to see that they love having Australians a part of the collegiate system.
Good. We're ready.
So all set, ready to go. It's game 2 out of the FIBA World Cup. Underway at Marvel Stadium, and with Miles Turner doing the jump against Aaron Baines, and the USA control the tip. They work to the right of your screen. This is Smart, left alone. It's the lob pass out wide. Cross now for Harrison Barnes. He elevates and comes up with the first points inside 20 seconds.
Well, again, a nice mid-range jumper, this time by Harrison Barnes. That's just the closeout, trying to take away the middle penetration. Need to be a little bit more aggressive on the ball in order for the defence to have what you would say, Case, a bit more starch.
This is Joe Ingles, wrap-around play. Baines, penetration, down low, off glass, can't convert. And Barnes is there for the rebound. Rushes back up the floor. Marcus Smart in support. Fires quickly and gets it done as well. They've scored the first 5 after scoring the first 6 in game 1.
Well, you have a look at that. Marcus Smart didn't even play in game 1. Comes off, just goes bang from the land of plenty. We need Daly to get fired up. And Landale with the offensive rebound. Doesn't have the same athleticism, but good timing and in the right spot.
And Hammer, I reckon the key to this one as well is going to be Joe Ingles. He's been a little bit down with his shot. Numbers aren't great. If Australia's going to be competitive, need to get a lot more out of Joe Ingles. I'd like to see him get going early as the United States just come out on fire.
Well, they've another 6-point lead here. Barnes scored 5 of their 8. Smart the only other scorer. They love the ball inside. Landale shares it now. Baines got a good look at it. Nice off the hand. He comes up with Australia's first triple.
Well, that's an area of his game that has really developed over the last couple of years in the NBA. No problem at all for the corner 3.
Oh, they are unconscious at the moment, the United States. That's 4 of 4, including 3 straight from deep. They have got all the answers. Baines inside Landale. The pass wasn't great, so he was able to knock it down. Dellavedova fires. Great job, Landale, to keep that alive with the offensive rebound. Now Joe Ingles. Shot clock to single digits. Ingles penetration. Baines, well, he's bumped. On the floor is the call from the referee. Jock Landale continues to impress.
And that's where Joe Ingles is at his best on that pick and roll. This is that offensive rebound. Just tucks that in nicely. But the more on-ball screens Joe Ingles can get himself in, the more good things are going to happen for his teammate. He is a quality passer with that sort of length. Really good vision, Drewy.
Spot on, and he uses his size, and his passing ability is absolutely elite, as well as his perimeter shooting. And Dale, look, he is great effort on the offensive glass.
And just word coming in that Kuzma won't take any part of the game. I'm a little disappointed. I've liked his work with the peroxide.
And I've liked his work from the land of plenty as well. Just so smooth with that release. Beautiful tempo of the game at which he plays at.
This is Mitchell. Oh, they force him into error.
Great hands from Patty Mills there off the dribble against Donovan Mitchell. We know how potent he is.
I tell you,
24 points a game last year, Drew.
He was fantastic.
Exceptional.
And good signs early on. A little bit more motion, a little bit more ball movement we're seeing from the Australian team the first couple of minutes.
Dellavedova for Mills. Shot clock works to 10 once more. Mills almost at the halfway line. USA by 4. Almost 3 minutes played. Opening quarter action. Mills works into the paint. Fall away. Nice finish. His first score in the game.
That's just an NBA move with a point guard being able to find his spot. Similar to what the United States have been doing to Australia. Almost identical that time with Patty Mills in the middle on ball.
Well, this has been an incredible effort to find ourselves only 2 points down when they're 4 from 4, 4 from 5 from the field, the USA.
Miles Turner misfires. This is Ingles. Well, Landale again finds some space and he throws it down on the USA.
Just as out of your mouth, Hammer, we see the passing and Landale finding the right spots and nice dive action and great pass.
6 unanswered points from the Boomers here. They've got some defence to play here. Free throws to come now for Team USA.
Patty Mills, he's with the ball and just does it, cuts his defender off to create that space. And Turner wasn't able to get up. And look at Joe Ingles, that size, vision and smarts to find Landale. Good start by Jock Landale, I like his energy.
Well, this is an area now with the United States at the free throw line. Probably one of the rare areas that they were beaten by Australia. They only got 9 free throw attempts for the entire game. Australia got themselves to the line 21 times.
16 of 21 Australia was the other night from the free throw line.
Donovan Mitchell.
Sometimes those numbers with free throws also are a reflection perhaps of the aggressiveness of the defence of Australia as well.
Well, this is good stuff from Australia as Baines jumps upstairs to throw it down.
And I think Andre Lamanis has channeled you, your coaching thoughts, putting Joe Ingles in another on-ball situation.
Thank you. Finally, that's where we want to see him, because he will serve it up on a platter like we've seen the last 2 possessions.
Middleton fires. It's all the bottom of the net for him as well. 5 of 6 from the field. The USA lead by 2. The Aussies 5 of 8. With a good 63% clip of their own. This is Dellavedova. Good screen from Baines. Just goes exploring with a dribble. Picks it up now. Baines inside. Good position. Flips it over the top. And he's fouled and going to the free throw line.
Aaron Baines, again, working down low, but on this occasion it's the on-ball screen. Beautiful pass and good bounce from the big fella. Not a lot of runway to work with, but was able to elevate and tuck it in. Joe Ingles already has got the 3 assists.
Go, play.
8.6 rebounds in 20 minutes in game 1 for Baines. And for a good free throw shooter, it hasn't been his strength in this series. 7 years in the NBA, more than 400 games with Boston, and now on his way to Phoenix. Makes the adjustment, gets to the back end there. So it's a 1-point ball game. It took over 4 minutes played. Term number 1. Smart picks up the dribble, hands over. Middleton. Back to Smart. Guarded by Ingles. Shot clock works to single numbers here. He puts it on the floor, Smart. They move it around through sets of hands. Get the look they were after, can't convert. And Dellavedova in a rush for Australia. Landale working hard up the floor. Baines gets it from Mills. He goes back in that direction. Mills looking for the penetration now. Finds some space. Landale arcs up the 3. It's off the mark. Baines the tip in. Couldn't get it to work. And now it's off to the races with Donovan Mitchell. Decides to go solo. And it was a good option as Mitchell comes up with his first field goal.
That's how tough they are. That was good defensive transition from the Boomers, but just not good enough, because Mitchell just pulls up on a dime in transition and goes bang. Look at this.
Just got too deep, didn't he? You saw Dellavedova on his heels. He was there in position, more concerned about the play on the rim, but the stop and pop caught him off guard as the big fella Andrew Bogut checks in.
Drewy, the possession before, we saw a little half-court trap and back into a zone. I like that from Andre Lamanis. He's going to have a few tricks up his sleeve come the World Cup.
Working hard for Bogut, and eventually it came back to him, and the bogeyman comes up with his first score. And timeout called here, a little less than 5 minutes to come in the first term.
Was trying to ring the alarm bells. It'd say, well, who can play at this level for the longest? And clearly that would favour the depth of the United States team. So a high-scoring affair. And I think tempo control is going to be vital for Australia. And if it continues this way, you'd have to say the advantage will go to the USA.
Both teams with 4 scorers so far. Middleton gets a good look, can't convert. Mason Plumlee, the offensive rebound. Look at another opportunity for Team USA. Aussie's doing well in the offensive glass at the moment, 4-1. Here's Walker, who checks into the game and has an immediate impact and opens his account.
Well, that was a great contest from Andrew Bogut, but just better offense from the United States. They know how to make tough shots individually.
Bogut, nice pass inside. Mills can't convert. Plumlee gets it out quickly, and Kemba Walker confronted by Dellavedova. Loses the handle, has to go back and retrieve it. Now some contact, no whistle. Walker goes on with it, and why not when you can finish like that?
He's not bashful. He's coming in a very aggressive mode. And again, a couple of mid-range jumpers. Matty Dellavedova didn't do a lot wrong.
On the hip. Double dribble.
Double dribble was called on Matty. I didn't quite see it. Have a look at Kemba Walker when he comes off those screens. That time there's good help. And I think they're the types of shots that Andre Lamanis has declared that he's going to have to live with, those mid-range contested ones. Here it is, a hint of an offensive foul, and again Walker just creates that separation, and that's enough for a couple of nothing but the bottom of the net shots by Kemba Walker.
Well, he may have just looked over at Pop and said, "You're bringing me off the bench. You're kidding, aren't you?" Here's a couple of little buckets for you straight away.
The USA 8 on the shot clock. They need to get busy. This man can do that. Tatum fires. Can't connect, and Bogut the rebound. A little bit going on between Bogut and Plumlee as well. We'll keep a close eye on that. 3.5 left here. Opening quarter action from Melbourne. Mills pass. Well, it's off the mark. Mandale couldn't reel it in. And Bogut's going to pick up the foul there.
And did well to disguise that. He was in front and he reached in. They're concerned about Paddy Mills and Jock Landale. Is just concerned about what happened down the other end. Paddy tried the entry pass, but they were claiming that Jock Landale got pushed in the back, and that's why he couldn't catch it.
Well, the positive thing about this start for Australia is only 2 points between Mills, Ingles and Dellavedova, and we've got 16 points on the board, so pretty good start considering some of our stars haven't been able to score early.
So a chance for the USA to come forward. Kemba Walker was going solo at the moment, and look at that finish. He's now up to 7 in the game, including 3 and 3 from the field and a game-high 8-point lead.
And this is the danger for Australia. You can't give up 24 points 7 minutes into the first quarter.
We're on a 7-0 run here, Team USA, as Ingles works into the corner. Catch and shoot Kane from that man, Chris Goulding, and he picks up where he left off in game 1.
Oh, that was against a contested hand as well, that baseline.
Oh, he's doing it at the defensive end as well. How about that from Goulding? But they need to contain this man, Kemba Walker.
He is. He scored the last 7 for the United States. And again, another beautiful stroke he's got. And Chris Goulding in the corner. Great pass. Again, really good vision. Chris Goulding coming off a career game for Australia. And he stays hot.
And Joe Ingles 4 assists out of a team total of 6.
Here is Ingles. Picks up the dribble, needs help. Back to Mills with 7 on the shot clock for the Boomers. Mills elects to fire from deep. It's short. Landed in the lap there of Joe Harris, who grabs it and hands over now. A chance for Jason Tatum. Bounce pass, Plumlee mishandled it. Need to reset here, and this man can reset before a blink of an eye. This time he's off the mark. Well, he had to miss a shot sooner or later, Kemba Walker. Goulding into the corner, Mills working baseline, Ingles wide open. Can't complete it. Great job there from Jaylen Brown to bring that down and win the rebound for USA. Rebound count 8-6 Australia so far. Harris relieved of possession. And now Joe Ingles with Bogut in support. Nick Kay hands over to Mills. Slower tempo from the Boomers as Bogut gets it. Shot clock to single digits. Now on the floor wants Ingles rolling to the hoop from close range. He gets the 2 to open his scoring account.
Another super pass by Andrew Bogut.
Timeout called by the USA. 1:31 left on the clock here in this opening quarter, and a 3-point buffer with Australia scoring the last 5 to get themselves back into the frame. And that layup, an easy 2, just what Joe Ingles needed.
Well, it's amazing how many open shots Joey's missed. We know he's a world-class shooter, and the majority of them have hit the front of the rim. A lot of short shots from Joe Ingles. Needs to make an adjustment.
Let's hear what Pope...
Just to remind me of
Had a little something to say, did he?
He didn't, but his supporters certainly said,
Okay.
well, have you had a look at the latest highlight reel from the big man? So, but terrific work by Andrew Bogut.
Pretty good company.
He is, absolutely.
Tatum left alone from close range. Bogut got there late, but was there quickly enough to worry him out of the points. Plumlee can't control it. It trickles out of bounds in Australia with a chance to eat into this buffer even further.
And Andrew Bogut plays a critical role in this team. Coming off the bench, he's perfect in my mind. Such a great passer. You see him as a rim protector there. He's used to doing it against NBA superstars, so certainly not intimidated either.
Ingles from close range, hands over to Nick Kay. Pass was deflected, and now Kemba Walker with it for the United States. Scott Jaylen Brown working with him. That's a tough shot, but he made it look easy to come up with his first score in the game.
And that's the thing, when you're looking at this USA team, they're 10 of 16, 62% from the field, and a lot of it's just better offense is beating pretty good defense. Now, the intensity, the ball pressure, there's a lot of things you can focus on, but it's not like that the Boomers are just chumps out here. They're they're applying themselves. It's just really, really good offense right now by United States and good finishing.
Campbell getting onto the floor for the Boomers inside the last minute of this opening term. Ingles guarded by Jaylen Brown. Clear out for him. Here's Nick Kay rolling down to the low block. Did well, protected the ball and came up with the finishing touches.
That's 12 points now have come from points in the paint for Australia. So they're doing a good job with that cutting action and finding them for those points around the basket.
Donovan Mitchell picks up the dribble. Needs support, gets it back from Tatum. Now it's on the floor, spinning one way, back the other. Well done, Nick Kay. Just shut him down. Shot clock rolls to red numbers. It's short, and the Boomers have it with the last play of the opening term. Ingles draws contact. Foul's going to be on Brown. It's going to be his second personal.
Nick Kay really needs to establish himself and find his role in this team. And with Jonah Bolden no longer in the squad, opportunity's going to be there. There you see the foul on Brown.
Good foul.
It is a very good foul.
Recognised they weren't in the bonus.
3.5 to play, term number 1. Ingles knocked down, couldn't get a whistle. Bogut's forced to fire. It's off the front of the rim, and entertaining first term concludes here in game 1. It was the USA by 2 at quarter time.
It's only 2 points in the last 3 minutes, so a real change in their defensive outcomes, and rebounding is been in Australia's favour. 10-6, they lead it in that first quarter.
And they've been very unselfish. 8 assists to only 3 for the Americans. The Americans want to get it done with individual brilliance. They've got the ability to break their man down, score against an opponent where you see this sort of ball movement and man movement. They rely on each other.
This is Bogut. Firing over the top, whistle on the play. He gets it. Chance at a three-point play and a quick foul called on Brook Lopez.
And although he's right-handed, this is where he's at his best. Coming to the middle, that nice little baby hook with the left. Great touch by the big fella. And goes to the line for the potential three-point play, and much improved in this area. He spends a lot of time working on his free throws. He's very committed to it, and he's seeing the results. Again, like you mentioned, Hammer, a little 1-2-2 half-court trap action by Australia, and it comes up, almost trumps.
Shot clock works to 10. They're hardly into their offensive set at the moment. Marcus Smart fires. Whistle on the play. Referees tonight, Michael Aylen, John Chapman, Chris Reed.
Well, I think the advantage for Australia trying to play with some sort of half-court traps is the NBA guys don't play against it. You very rarely see that sort of defense in the NBA, and I think that we have to have those sort of tactics up our sleeve, in and out of zones, man-to-man, half-court traps, just to disrupt what they're trying to do in the way they normally play.
True, and I think that you can't stay in it too long because the athleticism of the Smart, they figure it out, but to throw it in every now and again, and that trap there was more about just trying to delay the game, delay the shot attempt, get him lower into the shot clock than it necessarily was about trying to get a steal, which they almost came up with.
But the other thing it does too is when you're in a zone, you've got different rotations and different ways to defend any of the pick and rolls. You're not relying on the big guy from the back line. The other guard can come across, and it makes them do something a little bit different.
And usually in the zone, in good ones, there's built-in help.
USA back on top by 2. Early stages, term number 2. Ingles had the ball knocked away. Nick Kay gets after it. Harassed all the way there by Harrison Barnes. They've got 8 on the shot clock here, still in the backcourt, so Golding needs to get busy. Top of the key, he's going to fire the 3. Caught it deep. Long rebound comes to Marcus Smart. Lopez with it. Now Tatum, who shares it across with Joe Harris. Guarded by Golding in the corner. Stepped out of court. Don't tell Shane Hill.
One of my pet hates, Case. Do not like it at all. I see too many people practice making bad habits and stepping out of bounds in practice as well.
That was a little bit different. I think you give credit to the Australians' defence for more of this one. I know you've got to know where you are on the floor, but they were pushed out. Really good defensive set. The last 4 or 5 minutes by Australia, they're the ones that have cranked it up on the defensive end.
Dellavedova getting some treatment, needs help. This is Ingles. Works into the paint, largely uncontested and off glass, and adds another 2 to tie it away at 28.
Again off the pick and roll for Joe Ingles.
Oh, what a hustle that was. Matty Dellavedova getting down, getting it done as he wrestles the ball away from Team USA.
And that's his trademark. Get up and in, put pressure on the ball, and that ultimately has to become the trademark of the Australian team. And over the first 3 games, we've seen improvements on the defensive end every single time.
I like this a lot. 90 seconds done. Term number 2, level terms. Dellavedova with it. Ingles, extra pass. Kay, no room for his shot. Glidden, though, fires, can't connect. Harris grabs the rebound.
Beautiful set, though. Good ball movement, unselfishly finding the open man. Glidden couldn't knock it down, but I like the process that they're going through on the offensive end.
Well, going hard at it, but denied was Joe Harris. So the D good again from the Boomers as Ingles brings them up the floor. Game working to the foul line and now decides to fire over the top. Australia in front for the first time in the game.
That is a great sign for the Boomers. The great man Joe Ingles now with 6 points, 3 from 4 from the field. We've pumped him up about his ability to bring other people into the game with 5 assists as well.
Here's Harris once more, sharing around the perimeter. Barnes firing Marcus Smart, can't connect. Glidden the rebound and he feeds Ingles. Australia with momentum here at the moment. They enjoy a 2-point lead and Ingles decides to go back-to-back, can't convert as Tatum grabs the rebound. They're getting some latitude, which is never a good thing. Goes backwards though. Lopez fires. It's off the mark. Rebound snatched there by Harrison Barnes, and he draws a foul.
Look at Nick Kay just trying to find his identity in this team, and that will go a long way to doing that. Great block, and Joe Ingles, like you mentioned, finds his spot, steps back, mid-range, nothing but the bottom of the net. But on the defensive end, in the last 6 minutes, the United States have only made the 1 field goal.
And this is a good challenge for the United States, who are, very new together. One of the mantras from Coach Popovich is composure and poise. And being headed by the Boomers for a brief minute, that's what they're going to have to come up with to be able to work their way through in the second half of this second quarter.
Mills bobbled the pass but collects it and goes to Landale. Foul going to be called off the ball. Looks as though Lopez is in the vicinity. And he's picked up another. He picked up early fouls in game 1, Brook Lopez, and he's got problems here again, just being caught tugging at the shirt of Aaron Baines. So the Aussies doing a good job of it at the moment as Baines, top of the key, hands over to Mills. He wheels around, thought about the 3 and skims away. Out of court.
Oh my, she certainly do not expect to see that from someone like Patty Mills, one of our best shooters of all time.
Yeah, he's a star, and the good thing about Paddy, he can have those ones, and that one barely grazing the rim. Does not seem to affect him. His body language, he stays with it. Joe Ingles doing what Joe Ingles does with those long Inspector Gadget arms, able to deflect the ball and come up with something cheap for the Boomers. Chris Middleton says, you can't be that casual with Joe around. And collects the foul as well. Great work by Joe. I love the extended defense, and that's another thing across an 82-game season. You don't see a lot of extended full-court defense in the NBA. And again, just a little different look that they're thrown at the Team USA.
71% free throw shooter in the NBA, Joe Ingles. That's the 3rd team foul on the USA in this term as well. And we played a tick over 3 minutes, so that is a minor concern that they will need to manage. As Ingles puts Australia back on top, 32-31. Here's Mitch Creek checking in to give Ingles a rest.
I'm a bit surprised that Andre Lamanis didn't stay with Andrew Bogut for a little bit longer. I thought his impact off the bench was impressive in small minutes. 5 points, a couple of boards, he got an assist, a steal as well.
Yeah, he's gone to his bench a lot earlier, deeper in his bench a lot earlier. Glidden already seeing some action.
Here's Middleton with it. Shot clock works to single digits now as he shares it to Marcus Smart. Against Baines, we caught him a little off balance and he gets down low enough glass, adds another 2. So Mills rushes up the floor, just exploring. And a mismatch here against Lopez. He's drawn him out of his comfort zone, might fancy his chances. Now the lob pass, we wanted Landale, that was ambitious. And eventually Middleton put a stop to it. Not a lot of support ahead of him, but he may not be discouraged by that. Here's Middleton once more, getting it back from Lopez, firing unsuccessfully. So the shooting woes continue for the USA in this term. Just 2 of 6 from the field. And credit the Aussie D, Landale. Outside, Baines, firing, can't connect. Landale, the offensive rebound, and draws another foul. That's 4 fouls on the USA in this term.
Much better job on the boards tonight for the Boomers. Tough task coming out against the athleticism and the experience of this USA team. But Australia has been up to the task as we see Smart take it at his ex-teammate Aaron Baines.
Here we go.
Great finish around the basket, isn't it? Tremendous touch, good instinct.
Dellavedova, one way, back to the left-hand side, needs help. Landale puts it on the floor, an opening presents itself, off glass, can't convert. Pressure came there from Team USA and Kemba Walker. Back up the floor, greeted by Mitch Creek. Middle stages term number 2. It's a 1-point spread at the moment. After we started this term with the USA on top by 3. Here's Middleton, penetration. Worried out of the points. And foul. Fantasy bonus situation. A foul called on the USA and free throws to come here for the Boomers.
Probably in the rebounding contest, I'm guessing. Here we see Middleton get to the rim, and yeah, just a little push up, push off, turn up, so in the back, so we walk the length of the floor, and Jock Landale goes.
Not much in it.
Very little in that one. I think Landale did a really good job of selling it as well.
Well, I think you can stop it. Really good job. I think Landale's doing an excellent job. All 3 games he's played.
He's been impressive. He really has been one of the shining lights from probably most people who didn't know a lot about him, didn't have this expectation, but he's played himself into a major role come the World Cup, and it started with a standout performance against Canada a week ago.
I think it really started for him in the Summer League when he was over in the United States playing with the Milwaukee Bucks. Averaged 18 points a game, 42% from the three-point line throughout the Summer League. That'll get you some attention. And my understanding is he's offered NBA contracts, but he's locked into his deal with Zalgiris. And there we see a foul, and that's one that Matty Dellavedova. Gee, we've seen a lot worse contact than that not called.
It's soft.
Second foul on Matty Dellavedova, 3rd team foul on Australia. USA in the bonus at the moment. Still 5 minutes remaining here, term number 2. Elevation came there from Mitchell, but it's off the mark. Shooting woes continue here. They can't buy a bucket at the moment, the USA. And Dellavedova goes back at Mitchell to draw a foul on him, and now there's more free throws for Australia.
Timeout.
NBA
Last night with Collingwood as they took on Essendon, and of course played college ball in the States.
In case you accused me when I went to Kevin Pangos and labelled him a superstar. Was it you or Hammers? Just was it you? Shot me down. I'm not sure, Mason Cox. He is a terrific player.
Did you see the preliminary final last year?
Well,
He got them into the grand final.
One
I think he's
swallow
better
doesn't
known.
make a summer, as someone once told me.
I'm easily impressed.
I think he's got a higher reputation here than he does for his college basketball career.
Oh, no
Back at
doubt.
home,
No, he's
but,
a great, ripping fella too. And he hosted, I believe, a lot of the NBA guys at the Collingwood Essendon game last night to talk them through the finer points of the game.
Well, they've got their hands full here at the moment, Team USA, and you won't hear that too often. Down at the moment with foul troubles and with an inability to knock down a field goal so far in this second term. Shot clock rolls to 5. The Australians are all over them again. Will they get one off? I don't know. He travelled. Oh, go Australia.
Have a look at that. Tough, passionate defense that has America on their heels. You love it. Look at the excitement from Jock Landale when he was able to cause that violation. Great stuff.
Yeah, that'll be shown on the review a number of times of say, well, this is what we want our brand to look like. And Patty Mills gets fouled, attempting a 3. So a real opportunity now to ask some questions of this United States team and see where their mindset's at, where when the ball's not dropping, when it's not getting done on the offensive end, how do they stand up?
It's very tough to defend that. When you're locking and trailing a player like Patty Mills, which you have to, you can't go under any on-ball screen. if he stops up as quickly as what he does then, the momentum takes you into being able to foul him, and this might be exactly what Paddy Mills needs to get going. He's 1 from 5 from the field, and sometimes, as you know, Drewy, you get a couple of cheapies from the free throw line, and the next time he gets his feet set from the 3, it's net.
You never worry about Paddy's numbers. You know he's always going to believe that the next one's going in. Unlike some players, you can almost see the nervousness about them when they've missed a few, but not Paddy Mills.
6 unanswered points from the Australians. They have a 5-point lead. Their biggest lead in game 1 was a 3-point edge in the second quarter, and there's certainly parallels between game 1 and this game where Australia made their move at the start of the second. And the USA, well, they need to find a way to score here at the moment. They are struggling. This is White, who's checked in, looking to make something happen. Rushes to the hoop, couldn't get the finish, but he's drawn a foul. Free throws to come.
That was unfortunate because great defence from Matthew Dellavedova. Good pick and roll defence too. Look at Aaron Baines. He didn't commit fully, because if he had, they would have just dumped it off over the top for an easy dunk, but he sort of kept the offensive player guessing.
And the key to that is Matty Dellavedova's ability to get over the screen, and the chase is a lot shorter for him to get back in front. Now, he never got there completely because he committed the foul, but the intensity and effort that is required to do that is very, very difficult, and he is one of the best at it.
And 3 fouls for Matthew Dellavedova now. That's why he's taking a seat. Paddy Mills will now play point guard minutes. So he's played from the shooting guard for the time he's played so far tonight. Make that adjustment now, which he's more than capable of doing a good job with.
Here's Mitch Creek. Landale goes back to Creek. Muscles into the paint from close range. Nice finish for Mitch Creek to get his scoring account open.
Good use of the body, wasn't it? Down low, just used his strength, lower level, lower legs, and powered up through. Made it look real easy.
Inside the last 4 minutes of the first half, where Australia enjoying a 5-point edge. Here's Kemba Walker with it, guarded by Mills. Shot clock rolls to 7. Jaylen Brown needs help, provided by Turner. An unlikely conveyance, so he hands. He's fouled Derek White. Hit on the head was the call from referee Chris Reed, and Joe Ingles is not best pleased.
Well, I think they guessed on that foul and guessed wrong, according to Joe Ingles. No.
All ball with the hand. I think what the one he's got him with is just the elbow to the head. And unlucky.
What about, we got a chance to speak to the great Jeff Van Gundy in the warm-ups, and he said, did you go to the footy last night? He said, yeah, I did. He goes, those guys are tough. He said, you couldn't play 82 games of that. He said, I reckon Mitch Creek could play that sport. Any man with a leg tattoo like that and a mullet could play AFL footy.
And Jeff, let's not remember, he's had a big part of this whole campaign. He coached the team throughout the qualifiers, the last 18 months or so that got them there. They went 10-2 in the America zone and finished on top. And did a wonderful effort with players coming from Europe, calling on American players from all over the world, and him bringing them together. He had a tough assignment and did really, really well.
Don't worry about any of that. He is the best in the business at commentating. He is very entertaining.
So Australia by 3. Took over 3 minutes out from half-time. Still, the USA with just 2 field goals in this quarter. Look at Mills look off the D and get down low and add another 2.
Great pass. Again, Andrew Bogut. When he plays in that high post position, you see everybody get excited, moving without the ball to get cheapies.
Top of the key. This is Brown firing and filling it up. A much-needed bucket for the USA.
And that's the problem you have when you're showing so high. That time I thought Jock Landale made the adjustment, was really high, but it was the step back. His man stepped back for the 3 and good enough to knock it down.
Paddy Mills with it. Shot clock at 10. Trying to move away from Walker. Gets it back in rhythm. Fires unsuccessfully. Tatum got a piece of it. And he's got help down there as well, as they reel it in. And a chance now for Team USA to tie it away. And it's 6. And they have tied it. 42 apiece. 2:20 to play in the first half. Timeout called here. 88 was the final there. It was an entertaining affair.
Case,
saw Carmelo Anthony finish with 31 points.
down the stretch, and he really turned it on, didn't it? When they're looking for some scoring, Carmelo Anthony was a
Hit
superstar.
9 threes.
He was like that throughout his entire international career. He has been one of the all-time great USA international performers. If
Maybe
not,
best.
I was about to say, if not the best over a long period of time.
Love him. This is Paddy Mills. Took over 2 minutes out from halftime. He puts the foot on the accelerator and he gets a user-friendly roll as well. He's up to 9 points in the game, including 7 in this term. Walker looking for the answer, and he has got it.
And that's what we're talking about in the last game. You heard Andrew Bogut yelling out, ice, ice, and that was to say, well, don't let him come back to the middle. I've got you to help on the baseline. But when he's allowed to accept that screen, then it's just a matter of whether he's going to make or miss the shot because there's no help available.
Nick Kay taking on Jaylen Brown. Oh, good effective finish as well from Nick Kay, who's got 4 in the game on 2 of 2 shooting. Seesawing affair with Australia back on top, although Jaylen Brown has got other ideas and gets it now to Kemba Walker. Started on the bench in this game, but he's rapidly exploded to 12 points to lead all scorers. Here's Mills. Got Mitch Creek in support. He goes hard to the rim, off the glass just a little too hard. Cover D from Brown. Just worried him out of it. As Tatum grabs it next. Still yet to score in the game, but if you're going to open your scoring account, do it like that.
That is a beautiful drive straight down the middle, and with the right hand stuffs it in. And that'll help get him going as well. Great drive, and USA doing a good job just weathering this storm. A little bit of a semi-storm by the Boomers.
Well, 10 lead changes in this term. It has been an outstanding action as Bogut goes to work. He gets it done. Chance at a 3-point play.
Have a look at Tatum. He's on the wing. Nick Kay reluctant. You saw him just take a swipe on it, and that's usually the rules. When the guy's in the corner, that's the highest percentage 3-point shooter, so you don't want to come off the help on there. There needs to be some split line help from the weak side, and if it's not there, that's what's going to happen. They're going to stuff it through the rim, Case.
I like this from Bogut as well. He is able to create opportunities not only for himself, but because of his terrific passing ability, they have to play him, and he's a difficult cover. Can't get the finishing touches. Ball knocked down out of court by Nick Kay. In fact, Bogut had more assists than rebounds in game 1. And here's Dave Barlow, late replacement for Jonah Bolden. Barlow checks into the game. What a story that has been as Bogut gets a rest. 2-time Olympian, 2-time World Championship player, and a 4-time championship winner here in Australia with 3 different teams. 35 years of age. He may be pound for pound the strongest player in our domestic NBL. How about that finish? Nice work there from White. He got clear access to the basket and puts the USA back on top.
Yeah, after some great defensive sets, really did a good job restricting the field goals of Team USA. The last couple of minutes, it's just been the straight penetration. Barlow with the help from the weak side that time, but just a fraction late.
Shot clock, game clock, 1 second differential as Mills penetrates. Tough shot, never looked likely. Tatum with the rebound, and he's off and running. Last play of the first half. They work it from Brown in the corner. This is after the event, not going to count. Didn't tumble anyway, but an entertaining first half concludes with the USA enjoying a 1-point lead.
And they have had less assists tonight than they did in game 1.
And as happy as Andre Lamanis will be, he will only have to remember back to Thursday night where the Boomers were down 1 point at halftime. Exactly the same margin as we've got right here. And then a 32-18 third quarter burst from the United States. We have to make sure that on the defensive end, we don't let them get flowed tonight.
There's definitely a different look about the defense by Australia tonight, and it's improved every single game. So, and it's going to need to do that again in the second half. But the encouraging thing also on the offensive end is Australia's had 26 points in the paint, and the United States only 10 in the paint. So doing a good job, and a lot of that's come from weak side action, diving, and some great passing.
Set to go in the second half. USA with a possession arrow and a 1-point lead. Saw Australia score the first bucket of the third quarter in game 1, but after that it was one-way traffic. There's Mitchell elevating it short, well short. Landale the rebound. They're out of their rhythm here, the USA. Dellavedova. Screen from Baines, who rolls to the hoop. Landale joins in as well. Rejected. What a defensive play from Miles Turner. They rush back up the floor. He started the play and he's going to finish it. It looks like from the foul line.
Down the other end, it started with, like you mentioned, have a look at the work. There comes the help. Great pass by Dellavedova. Landale goes up with the two hands. Turner says, no, sir, not in my house. And he leads the break. Terrific athleticism by Miles Turner.
And I expect them to come out with a different mindset. You would imagine that Pop may have been a little cranky at halftime. Speaking of these guys and challenging them, and I spoke about it earlier, their mantra is composure and poise. He will have challenged them with that.
They extend the margin. We had 12 lead changes in the first half, but it's USA by 3 here. Early stages of term number 3. One knockdown out of court. 12 on the shot clock here.
Looks very at home, doesn't he, Landale?
6 points, 5 boards at half-time, and he just keeps doing it. He has been the real surprise packet. This is Ingles, guarded by Middleton. Mills looking for penetration, scoop pass. Baines at the top with a 3. It's deep. And Turner grabs the rebound. So impressive in game 1, Turner. 15 points, 14 boards. Here he is again, wheeling and dealing, and a nice finish as well. His first field goal of the game.
And how's the body control? Comes down, nice little drop step and beautiful touch just around the rim.
USA has scored the last 6. Baines with a clean-up dunk, and he's happy about it as well with a chance at a 3-point play.
Well, it was Ingles that made the play, though. Great pull-through. Have a look at this from the wing. Does it in slow-mo. Got there. And Baines just following it up. And that's what the big fella has to do. Not just rely on pick-and-pop jump shots. Do some of that little work. We know he's tough under the bucket. Got some athleticism for a big fella, too.
And Miles Turner, he'd be looking at his teammates saying, well, hang on, if you want me to come over and help, someone's got to get into the legs of my guy to keep him off the boards.
Australia go back to their original 5, interestingly. Dellavedova out there with 3 fouls. The USA made 1 change to their original 5. And the big man's firing. They won't mind that. But we see Kemba Walker, who started on the bench, starts here in the third ahead of Marcus Smart. Oh, Mills knocked out. Good hustle there from Miles Turner.
I think we might have been a tad fortunate with that call, didn't we?
It was an interesting one. Happened pretty quick, but Bobble wasn't the prettiest of plays. Gets tangled up and, oh no, maybe you're right.
Ingles guarded by Middleton, who's giving him close attention now. Not surprisingly, after Ingles had 8 points in the first half, more than he scored for the entire game. And the opener on Thursday night, oh, he looks off the D. Just didn't get enough on the shot, and Kemba Walker with a rebound. And off and running. This is looking dangerous for the USA as he feeds Barnes, who works closer to the hoop and comes up with the 2. He's got 13 on 5 of 5 shooting.
And that's the worrying thing for me. If we miss shots, America are so good in transition. It doesn't matter if you get numbers back. They're good enough to be able to score against numbers.
Mills, off balance, fires on one leg, comes up with a 2. He's got 9 in the game.
That's how good he is. Picture perfect shooting technique and very crafty, good balance.
Little Dirk Nowitzki about it.
It had a little bit of it, didn't it?
That's nice as Turner provides for Chris Middleton.
And that's too easy. Need a lot more ball pressure. When the player can distribute it like that, puts a lot of pressure when you're trying to guard those cuts.
Ingles shares it. Dellavedova in space, draws contact on Middleton, can't finish it, but he's off to the free throw line.
You talk about that D-trans, to get some bodies back. It's the kick out, the close out, and Landale just overcommits, which you have to. Barnes has been great, and Middleton on the curl cut, no help from the screener, and the easiest of 2. And always tough on those curl cuts, and the way you can protect that is obviously the help from the screener, but a bit more ball pressure, try and get a deflection, make that pass a lot harder.
And Daly finds himself at the line because he drove, and he drove to score. Sometimes I think Daly's been guilty of driving just for the pass, then they don't come to him and he doesn't get anything, so good adjustment from him.
Landale making himself a presence, but USA put a stop to it. And a chance now for Kemba Walker. Oh, look at the quicks he's got there. Too fast. He's lightning quick as he makes 2, draws a foul.
It was, and it happened so quick it was hard to follow, but I think he also did a great job of using his body. Landale was there. Here you see him on his heels, and just that little step in, and the timing of that shot never gave Landale a chance to get up and block it.
Well, he's left on an island, the big fella. He looked like Tasmania out there at the 3-point line. Hemler Walker attacking him off the dribble.
And that's the
It's a
problem.
mismatch.
And that's the judgment you've got to make when you're guarding those on balls. You come too high, and those big fellas are out there that the smaller guards can get around them. And just got to sit back and try and make a tough contested 2 rather than getting that deep.
So the margin out to 6, the biggest we've seen in the second half. And no Kyle Kuzma tonight, finished with 12 points in game 1, but sitting out this with a sore left ankle as Landale jumps upstairs and throws it down.
And a little 1-2-2 extended defence by Australia, by the United States gets exposed.
Good D from Baines there as he kept Barnes at bay, and now Ingles exploring. Rolling to the hoop. We got push there, Baines. Oh, no whistle. How about Landale, though, this young man? He is making his name.
Well, I like the fact that Australia saw the press. They didn't try and just pass the way through it to get it over. They actually tried to attack it. And it started with the ball control of Dellavedova, got it to Ingles, who got his 6 assists for the game.
4-point margin. Took over 3 minutes played, term number 3. Walker just throws it up after the contact. Foul's going to be called on Paddy Mills. It's going to be his first personal. 10 teams fouls overall in Australia, 14 on the USA, but they've got 3 and 2 respectively in this quarter.
They did, and you're right, Hammer. The way in which Australia beat that extended press, it's sort of like one of those token presses, but the disadvantage of the American teams. When was the last time you saw an NBA team throw in a little 1-2-2 trap or extend the defense? So they're not used to it, whereas Australia, they practice it because they use it a lot themselves, and they practice against it, and clearly were a little bit better set up and got the cheapie.
Well, I'm not sure Pop will have that much confidence to go back to it after that.
So Walker, again, a steadying influence off the bench tonight. It's starting to build impressive numbers again. 17 points on 6 of 7 shooting and 3 of 3 from the stripe.
For all the good we've been talking about Australia, I think this next 3 or 4 minutes has proven to be critical in the game. We've got to find a way to keep that scoreboard ticking over. It's tough on the other end, the defensive end, to get those stops. Got to keep trying to find a way to score.
Well, the margin's out to 7. The biggest we've seen so far was an 8-point edge for Team USA with 3 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Australia's biggest lead, a 5-point edge in the second. This is Mills from just beyond the foul line, at the front of the rim. Tip in from Baines wouldn't work. And a chance now for Walker and the USA to go running again. Nice tricks behind the back, step back, look good, can't complete it. Landale the rebound as he wrestles the ball away from Harrison Barnes. Ingles, Baines, telegraphed the pass a little, it was knocked down there by active hands from the USA. Here's Walker once more. Barnes puts it on the floor, bounces into Landale. Foul's going to be called on the Aussies, a 3rd team foul in this quarter.
Defensive transition so critical, and that time just never were able to contain the ball, always on the back foot, and with the penetration, Landale with the reach in.
And we're seeing Andrew Bogut come back again. Andre Lamanis has had great service tonight from both Baines and Bogut. They've got 20 points between them, shooting the ball at a high percentage, rebounding well, and both of these players are going to be critical in the 5 position come the World Cup next week, and this is the best we've seen them play.
100%, and almost go to the point. I know it's going to be tough down the other end of the floor, but if you wanted to throw a look at, maybe you can from time to time play the 2 of them together on occasions. It would, perhaps on the defensive end, that might make it tough, but maybe throw in a little zone, keep them on the floor at the same time, and go old school.
Well, it's certainly something that you would expect Andre Lamanis to be at least toying with, particularly if both are in good form.
Biggest lead of the game so far, 9-point edge. It's been 16 points to 8 in favour of the USA in this quarter, but Bogut gets a user-friendly roll, and he's now into double figures with 11, and no one has more for Australia. Desperate for a stop, though. The points coming too easy for USA here in term number 3. And they find a good look here for Barnes. As Bogut grabs the rebound. And they catch a break there, the Boomers. Bogut with the ball-carrying duties, if you don't mind. Now Ingles. Bogut rolling to the hoop. No passing lane open. It's it back from Landale. Shot clock works to single digits here. And Landale started and wanted the pass to Bogut. come up empty, and Landale's going to be called for the foul here, and that's going to be over the limit, so free throws to come.
Bogut's touch when he puts the ball to the floor. This time it's with the right. Comes that with the left, but if he can start to make that shot on a consistent basis, when you've got those elite shooters coming off the handoff, you're almost forced to provide some sort of help, and they're just that step out of position, and Bogut can take advantage of that. Really makes the offense be all that more potent.
Well, he can fool the defense sometimes, can't he? Because he's so potent with his passing. And you start thinking about where the cutters are, and that time he just read it.
His man bites on those little handoffs and puts it to the floor and be aggressive on the offensive end. Looks good.
8-point ball game, middle stages, term number 3. Pressure up the floor. Nick Kay just looking a little concerned, and that's why they forced him into an error. Tatum will finish in style.
Well, if we're relying on Nick Kay to bring it up against the little 2-2-1, we're going to be in some big trouble.
Funeral call.
Well, this is quite a contest with the USA just starting to stamp their authority on this at the moment. We've got some celebs in the house again here for Game 2, along with 50,000 plus. Anthea LaPaglia will be well known to many people who love their TV movies.
Bit of crime series in.
I know you're into that, Drewy.
Is it his brother that does Survivor? Is that,
That's your big favourite show at the moment, isn't it, as well? But let's get back to this, because the Boomers have got their hands full. They've scored only 10 points here in 5 minutes, and the offense is just stuttering at the moment. Ingles, he turned down the wide-open 3. They get an even better shot as he rolls to the hoop, and he's into double figures.
And that is the bread and butter of this Boomers team. You get the ball in the hands of Andrew Bogut. You got Patty Mills coming off one way. A little bit of the deflection there back to Joe Ingles. Good basketball.
Good recognition by Joe. Saw the big man Plumlee. Knew he'd be able to get by him rather than just settling for the 3. Gets the one on the rim, the cheapie on the rim.
Walker, good screen from Plumlee. Caught it short. Plumlee tried to keep it alive, but Ingles has got it now from Golding. Now Bogut. Behind the back pass, Mills back to Bogut, confronted by Plumlee. Says, you can't guard me. I'll have 2. I'll go to the line.
Gone back to the Rio days here. The ball movement, the slickness, the way in which they're coordinating with each other, and the big man Andrew Bogut stepping up and finishing around the rim. This is a thing of beauty.
That's a great pass from Patty Mills. You've got to respect him when he comes off those pick and rolls. Nice little...
And I give Andre Romanis a lot of credit for the way this team's been building. That's the 4th game we've seen, and each and every game they've gotten better. They've taken the lessons from each game and built on them, and specific areas you've seen the improvements, and that's not easy in a very short period of time when you don't have a lot of practice time.
Anything hurting the Boomers at the moment, they are 2 of 15 from the free-point line, and they have missed their last 7 shots since quarter time from deep.
And that's a strength of ours too.
So a 5-point run from Australia. They halve the deficit, but not for long, as Jaylen Brown comes up with a 2. Had to miss a shot in the game. Brown, 7 on 3 of 3 shooting. Inside the last 4 minutes, term number 3. Golding, guarded by Tatum. Went into a trap, wraparound pass for Bogut. Ball dislodged, and now a chance for them to get up the floor through Brown. Here's Tatum, Euro stepping his way into the paint, but it's knocked away by Nick Kay. Golding bounce pass for Bogut. Ingles in the corner, being denied at the moment by Harris. And eventually have a look at call for the foul.
And you see the adjustment from Team USA at the defensive end on Chris Golding. 19 points in the first game. Today only 1 from 2. So you see a nice little finish to the bucket. That time Nick Kay comes through and takes it off the rim. But Chris Golding has not been able to get a sniff of it tonight. They will not help off him at all. The possession before, we see Patty Mills cut to the basket, but there was no way that the defender of Chris Golding was helping off at all.
USA with 14 fouls now in this term. Australia already over the limit. 3:30 to play. Term number 3. This is Golding. It's a score since quarter time. Off the ball, Patty Mills crashes to the floor. So bonus situation now.
5, 3, push.
Free throws to come as Donovan Mitchell picks up the foul. That's 3 on him. Chris Middleton has 3 fouls as well. Likewise for Australia, Dellavedova and Landale with 3. Need to take advantage of this at the moment because it's in danger of just slipping away from Australia.
And these are the cheapies that you need when the defence is cranked up. Try and figure out a way to get to the free throw line. Paddy Mills, an excellent free throw shooter. I'll tell you what Andrew Bogut does well is when he's got guys coming off on those handoffs, he turns his body. Now, I don't know if it's always legal, but he does a magnificent job of creating separation to be able to distribute that ball.
Very effective.
Margin cut to 5 once more. Pressure up the floor as well. They try and deny Donovan Mitchell the ball. They did that, but they've got Jaylen Brown to contend with now as he retreats away from the defence. Contact off the ball, no whistle. Brown goes on with it. Eventually lost control, wasn't sure where to go. Had a brain explosion and threw it out of court.
And that's good work by Nick Kay. He would, to be able to move his feet, be able to put that ball pressure on him, on Brown, who's got the advantage off the dribble. It's great work by Nick Kay.
8 turnovers for the USA. Australia has 9. Bogut, Mills, wheeling around for the 3. Bottom of the net, we're back to within 2.
Well, and that's the other side of that play we saw before. That time Paddy got it. The time before they faked Paddy, got it back for the pick and pop 3 for Joe Ingles.
Tough shot. More free throws to come here. Golding doesn't like the call. Let's get a look at Paddy Mills once more, though.
It is. It's great movement. He works just as hard off the ball as he does with the ball, and he's a little buzzsaw bouncing around. He's got the 14 points, only 4 of 12, 33%, but that undersells what he's been able to deliver. The attention that he's bringing to himself, opening up space and positions for others, can't be underestimated.
7 of his 14 have come in this third quarter, Drewy, and that's out of the 20 that Australia has scored. Much closer than they were at this juncture in the game on Thursday night.
Not just on the scoreboard, but also the look and feel of the game. Sometimes the score doesn't always reflect what's happening, but this is definitely a ball game that's got the Americans thinking about it.
It was 14 points the difference USA's way in game 1 of this series at this point. So here's Dellavedova. Quiet night by his standards. Just the 2 points. Yet to hit a field goal. Just for 1 assist as well. Paddy Mills, thank you very much.
With the touch too, and don't underestimate the free throws that Paddy had a couple of minutes ago. Saw it go through the net. He's made 2 threes since.
Mills with 10 in the quarter. Margin cut to 1. Plumlee. Foul called on Australia, so free throws to come. But Paddy Mills has lit it up here in term number 3.
He does. He senses the moment really well. He's an experienced guy, been to a couple of Olympics, been a leading scorer at the Olympics, and he's got the last 8 points just reading the moment. Nick Kay coming in a little late. I think it was probably could have picked between Mills and Kay. I think they gave it to Kay.
How pretty is that jump shot from Paddy Mills?
It's a thing of beauty. If the young folk out there looking, just try and get a slow-mo of that shot, not that one.
As opposed to that free throw.
Now, this is not textbook. It was effective, but Mason Plumlee.
Young kids, turn away now.
Yeah, look away. Do not, gee, whatever weight program he's on, get on that one because that is a specimen. That's not great technique.
Michael Allen makes the call there. The foul's going to be called on Jaylen Brown, so we'll walk to the other end of the floor here. And free throws to come for Australia.
These are bad fouls, Case, because
Incredibly so.
You admire their enthusiasm getting after the ball, but you have to be smart enough to know that your team is in the bonus. And after Australia's hit a couple of threes, they've really been able to eat into that deficit that got out to 8 points, now back to 2. Would have been a chance for Nick Kay to tie this thing up.
Much improved performance by Nick Kay in game 2.
Well, he's going to be critical now, Drewy, with
100%.
Jonah Bolden out, who I expected to play a big role, but he's no longer there. Nick Kay is going to get more opportunities, and particularly amongst the early games, the pool games, where you need some of your bench to be able to contribute.
So versatile. He's just got to find his spot. He's got to find his identity in the team and where he fits, and once he gets comfortable with that, he's going to be fine.
Australia edge a little closer here. And we've got it back to within one. Tick over 2 minutes left here in term number 3.
Critical. 2 minutes 22 to go in this third quarter as Australia makes a run at this great team.
Australia in Group H at the 2019 FIBA World Cup in China. First game against Canada, September 1, followed by games against Senegal and Lithuania in their group. Here's Jason Tatum. Wanted contact from Kay, no whistle. Feeds in the corner, ready to go, Donovan Mitchell.
And that's the problem. When you bite on the roller to the basket, you open up someone like Donovan Mitchell for a wide open trifecta corner pocket.
First score since quarter time for Donovan Mitchell. Loose ball hustle. Australia win it back. Tatum doesn't like it.
Here's that play you're talking about with Mitchell. You're coming, because it's going away, the weak side corner, Matty Dellavedova comes off. He had to tag the roller, so he's guarding trying to help the big man as he comes off. And
you just can't help from that position. You can't do it. It has to be a two-man game, and you're relying on both guys defending both the on-ball screen, the picker, and the guy with the ball.
Yeah, it is very difficult, because when you're going away, you've got to tag the roller, and you're saying, well, what do you want to live with, a contested three or a dump-off pass to the big man around the basket? But it is that's a decision. Strategically, it's a decision you've got to make.
Already 27 points in this quarter for the USA, their highest scoring quarter of the game. They lead by 4 after starting this term with a 1-point edge. Here's Bogut, tough shot, he makes it work. Bogut now is 16 in the game on 7 of 8 shooting.
Well, he has been ultra impressive so far tonight, Andrew Bogut, not just because he's outperformed on the normal output of points that he's got, but his overall impact on the game.
USA get it back. Here's Mitchell, energised by knocking down the last shot. Can't complete it there. Golding gets after it and feeds Dellavedova. Less than 90 seconds to play. Term number 3. Australia come forward with a chance to retake the lead. Draw level. They'll take either. Dellavedova against Tatum. Looks inside. Nick Kay's hook shot on the bottom of the net. We're tied at 76.
Great find by Dellavedova again, and Nick Kay, that'll do his confidence a world of good. Impressive performance by Nick Kay.
Inside the last 60 seconds, term number 3, exploring. Derek White, they've coughed it up. This is Patty Mills. Australia go to work. Golding with a finishing touch. Rejected. Whistle on the play. Free throws to come for Golding as Derek White challenged the shot.
Look at Andrew Bogut. He's been super aggressive. His confidence is high again. A little fake handoff, this time with the left. He gets to the middle. He wanted the foul as well to head to the line. And down the other end of the floor, Derek White with a spectacular attempt to try and recover that play, and very close to getting that cleanly.
This has been a terrific performance by the Boomers. 17 assists out of 27 field goal made. So great effort. This is the sort of team basketball you expect from the Boomers. They can't do it one-on-one, so they do it by committee, and they're working for each other tonight. Great ball movement, great man movement.
It's 18 points to 8 in the last 4 minutes in favour of Australia as we close in on three-quarter time, and Golding to put them back in front. Terrific free throw shooter, Chris Golding. 84% on his career.
Chris just forgot he'd had a haircut. He's pushing his hair behind his ears on that last.
Well, he makes both. Australia on top here. The Boomers have scored the last 6 and taken the lead here as we head toward three-quarter time. Kemba Walker, guarded by Mills. Fans getting involved as well. Single digits on the shot clock now for Team USA.
Got the mismatch down low. Mills on Tatum.
Mitchell fires from deep. Had it long. Golding the rebound. Quick outlet pass. Mitch Creek. The Mills did well to rule that hit, and so did Ingles. Shot clock is some 2 seconds inside the game clock, ahead of the three-quarter time buzzer. And Patty Mills with 10 points alone in this quarter of his 17. Off the front of the rim, loose ball. Chance now for Team USA. With the last play of the term, and Walker. They can't afford to foul Australia. Over the limit, 1 on the shot clock. Oh, they dislodged the ball, couldn't get it away effectively. We are set up for a titanic final term with 1 quarter to play.
Builders is not the fact they're up 2 points. It was the fact they were able to stifle the momentum that USA had, being up 10 points. They turned that around and outscored this powerful team by 10 themselves.
20-8 was the run in the last 5 minutes. They're looking to extend it. Unable to do so on that miss from Dellavedova. And the foul going to be called on Mitch Creek. That's going to be his first personal. Overall, 15 fouls on Australia, 19 on USA.
Momentum in any sport, modern day sport, is very, very difficult to be able to stop. And the Boomers have found a way so far in this game, but watch out. The USA will be ready to throw some punches now.
And they're doing it, and they're 4 of 19 from the three-point line.
This is Dellavedova off the Walker miss. 30 seconds done in the final term. Ingles harassed by Middleton, who's playing with 3 fouls. Ingles, good use of the body, and just helps himself to 2. Australia have a 4-point buffer here, and Ingles up to 12 in the game.
Great body use from Joe Ingles off that pick and roll. Impossible when you get somebody on your back for them to be able to get back in front.
Donovan Mitchell with it. Shot clock rolls to single numbers against Baynes in a mismatch. Casually flips it up, couldn't complete it. Ball comes back to Chris Middleton.
51,000 starting to get involved as well, Case.
Shot clock to 5. Middleton goes to the corner. Firing. Barnes couldn't complete it. And ball going to Australia. Foul called on the USA.
Ingles, one of the craftiest players you want to see at any level. Here he is, reads the defense, gets him on his back, and just don't underestimate what Aaron Baynes did there as well. Just a nice little block to create that hole for Ingles to get the cheapie.
The drought continues here for the USA. Didn't score in the last 70 seconds of the third quarter. Had to score in the first almost 90 seconds here in the final term. Ingles picks up the dribble. Creek looks inside one of Baynes. Pass was battered and deflected, but it came to him now. And the big man's got it with 5 on the shot clock. He goes to work with a hook shot against Miles Turner. Australia scored 10 without reply and led it by 6. Oh, big play at the other end. They needed that, Team USA. It was slipping away.
And not much more Aaron Baynes could have done. He made good position. The defensive transition off the made basket. Here we see Baynes just takes his time. No help comes. So Baynes with a left-hand hook. And down the other end, had to do his work. Just a little reaching got him caught. Just better off keeping the hands up. But the defensive transition off the made basket is what hurt the Boomers on that occasion. And chance for the three-point play.
So the margin halved to a 3-point edge for Australia. Almost 2 minutes played in the final term. So we head toward the 2019 FIBA World Cup in China, a week away.
Baynes starting to feel it. Great left-hand hook before, but I think people have underestimated the great work he's done with that gear too.
I don't like that habit when the big fellas waste one of their made baskets and it doesn't count.
I thought you were going to talk about his beard, mate.
No, I love
Pretty
that.
good grooming. He's
Terrific.
He's had on that. Very impressive.
Turner with 2 fouls. Both teams with 2 fouls in this term. We played less than 2 minutes. Dellavedova top of the key, working against Kemba Walker. Golden look-away pass. He even caught Aaron Baynes unawares. Ball deflected out of court, last touch by the USA. The Aussies have got 3 on the shot clock.
That was slick from Chris Golding. Look at this catch here. Little pocket pass, bang. Big fella wasn't ready. Hands like flipper on that occasion. Big Aaron Baynes. That would have been a nice easy dunk.
See the urgency about Team USA here. Timeout call. Timeout call. 7:55 left on the clock. Australia to restart one of this series. We had 51,218 in the house. Well, a new record. 52,079.
Wow.
103,000 watching basketball in Australia in 2 games. Oh, Joe Ingles took too long to restart there, and credit the Americans there. They came out with a plan, and Ingles couldn't find a passing lane, and they turn it over.
And this is why these games, Case, is so important for both countries to play in leading up to the World Cup, because they've both been challenged. Don't think that Popovic isn't going to those huddles now, trialling different things. He's evaluating what players are going to get it done at critical times in the game. As Australia, as America, get one back. 1 point the difference.
They scored the last 5, the USA.
Grabbed on the screen.
Off the ball. It's going to be a third team foul called on the USA. This is Walker at the other end, and that's hard to stop.
That is a great finish. Just using his strength and speed to get that deep and up against a very good rim protector as well. And Aaron Baines just uses his smarts to find a way to craft a shot out of that.
Well, Walker up to 20 points, but he's 7 from 11 from the field. On Thursday night, he got 22 field goal attempts up, so he might have a few up his sleeve. You just sense that he will take the responsibility to get very aggressive in these last 7 minutes.
Dellavedova, catch and shoot, can't connect. Landale tried to get a piece of it. Dellavedova now none of 4 from the field. Only points for him have come from the free throw line. Oh, Walker looked like he was fouled. He was at the football last night, probably felt like he was at it again there as they give him some treatment. It's a third team foul on Australia in this quarter. Likewise, the USA has 3 fouls in this term.
Matty Dellavedova just with the reach in, that was the foul called. That's his 4th as well for Matty.
So with Dellavedova with 4, likewise Donovan Mitchell and Chris Middleton have 4. They're not on the floor at the moment, but that is a concern for Team USA down the stretch. But here's Walker. At the moment they can't stop him. Caught it short, Baines the rebound, and now Dellavedova with it. Australia just 4 points in this term and played almost 3 minutes. Mills in the corner, Baines heads in that direction, now he comes to the ball. Shot clock rolls to 10. Baines working against Joe Harris in a mismatch in height. Muscles his way inside. Short-armed it. Tatum taps it to the advantage of Barnes.
This is where we need Andrew Bogut on the court as well. I think we have to find a way for Bogut and Baines as we see a big 3 corner pocket for Harris. And now the USA have got momentum. But this is where I think that Andre Lamanis has to find a way for Bogut and Baines to play together, because they're our 2 best big men.
Mills, catch and shoot for the answering 3. Australia back on top.
The intensity you can see it in the defensive end from the last 3 or 4 possessions when challenged. They've stepped it up. That time Patty Mills was able to knock down the 3 ball.
And that snapped an 8-0 run from Team USA. Oh, Baines got one across the chops there. I put that into the memory bank. Oh, Golding had the ball stepped out of court.
Oh, no.
Australia with the lead, though. Took over 6 minutes out. Nervous times for everyone here at the moment. You can always tell when Andrew Gaze is nervous, Hammer, because he doesn't say too much.
No, I'm just enthralled to see the way both these teams are going to attack these last few minutes, and it's great to see the United States, Greg Popovich, appreciate the fact that they're being challenged in such a significant way.
I'm sure the 52,079 and everyone watching around Australia and beyond are pretty excited about it as well.
Well, the big picture, of course, is the World Cup, and you learn more through these types of challenges than you do when you just roll them out and you pick up your 15, 20-point win.
What about Australia's offense? 85 points with a tick under 6 minutes to go in this game. They only scored 70 a week ago against Canada, so the improvement is vast.
Misfiring there, Joe Harris, loose ball, trickles out of court, nice touch by Australia.
Well, I think Bogut got away with one too. Well, reached around there, it looked like he just grabbed him by the jersey. Little sneaky one.
Here we go, 14 shot clock.
So we restart with less than 6 minutes to play here. And they have to retreat a long way to get it done. The USA. Brown picks up the dribble. It's over now. Harrison Barnes firing over Nick Kay. Bogut. Oh, got the rebound, got in a tangle there with Joe Harris as well. Wanted a foul, but Michael Allen's not buying it.
Great D from Nick Kay. Really good contest without fouling. Have a look at that. Forced him into a tough shot, and Bogut up there.
in the last 3 or 4 possessions for the United States is just get it to someone and get downhill. Really gone one-on-one, a lot of one-on-one action. In contrast, Australia getting the ball through some hands and a lot more man and ball movement.
Milsmas Faisal tripped there and a heavy fall. Let's hope it's not too serious there, because he hit the dead hard Derek White. Accidental trip from behind. He stumbled forward and just having to compose himself here at the moment.
That hurts too. Unfortunate. Nick Kay just running behind, but little ankle tap. And oh my!
I don't think there was an out. I think he just tripped over his own.
I think there was a little ankle tap. I think
He
got caught up, but looked like his head hit the ground there. My.
Yeah, that's tough when you lose your feet and your momentum's going forward and you smack your head onto the timber. Oh, let's hope he's okay. No, that's not good. Look here, see, I reckon his leg has just clipped it. You know what? I think he's just himself. He stumbled over himself, but it doesn't excuse the fact he's had to take
Look at his head hit the ground here.
big hit.
Bang.
You can clearly see why the referee would have called it, because he tried to cross over from behind, and there's the head on the floor.
Yeah, we'll just wait till he's finished, because otherwise we'd have to change all that
I mean, you're shooting.
Thank you.
A foul on Australia,
Okay,
so
whoever.
free throws to come. They're over the limit
Do you
now.
have a sub coming?
And that's going to be a problem for 5 minutes and 21 seconds.
Big problem, Case. That's a long time to play against a team with that sort of skill that likes to attack you off the dribble.
Sub. He's got to play the game, though.
We
Are you
hope
coming in
he's
as well?
feeling better tomorrow, but
Okay, as well. We've got 2 subs.
wow, we.
It hasn't been
26
great trip
is
for
coming.
Derek White. Didn't score in game 1 and was playing so well. 8 points in this one. And that nasty clash there after being tripped, and he's going to be assessed and taken away.
Okay, guys.
All point. Go.
Appreciate that.
So a chance here for the USA to retake the lead. I think Australia in front with just on 5 minutes
Sometimes it happens, guys.
left in the
Here we go.
contest. If you offered that
Get it going.
to the punters and to the coaching staff,
Wow.
you'd get the affirmative.
Well, it's just been a terrific effort from the Boomers here today.
Great offense by both teams. Australia, they're up to 50% from the field. And if it wasn't for the tardy three-point work, only 5 of 22 from the three-point line, they perhaps might have had a bit more of a margin.
Well, even more so, you take Paddy Mills' three-point percentage out there, they're only 2 from 14. We need to knock a couple of those down if we're going to get over the line here for the Australian Boomers.
USA back on top. A little over 5 minutes remaining in the contest here. One game won by 16 Mills. Dellavedova, quick ball movement to Bogut. They shoot across. Mills firing off balance. Tough shot.
Had longer on the shot clock than he thought. There's still 6 seconds remaining. I think he thought the shot clock was coming down. And there's the foul on Andrew Bogut. He thinks looking for some divine intervention.
And that's what he adds to this Boomers lineup. Have a look at this. Doesn't do a lot wrong, you wouldn't have thought. Straight up.
No, that's clean.
I think that's great defense as a rim protector.
Foul's been assessed, which is second. 20 fouls on Australia overall. The USA with 22. Jaylen Brown misses the first. Hasn't scored or just the one bucket since half-time. Had 11 in game 1. So the margin is a 2-point buffer. Inside 5 to play. Perhaps 5 of the most important minutes in Australian basketball history. This is Ingles. One way. Picks up the dribble. Wants help. Looks for Mills down low. Brown right there with him. Bogut, good use of the body once more. They free Mills. He fires, can't connect. Dellavedova for the rebound and did enough to work it out and brought off Jaylen Brown.
Great hustle by Matty Dellavedova. Even those 4 fouls. Hint of an over the back. Gets away with it and comes up with another possession for the Boomers.
Firing quickly is Ingles. It's off the mark. Kemba Walker gets after the rebound. Looking to build on a 2-point advantage. Started this term with Australia leading by 2. Walker gets inside, finds Brown, working on Dellavedova with 4 fouls. Offensive fouls being called off the ball. Mills went down. Chris Reed, the referee, steps up.
Miles Turner was screaming there was a switch, and Paddy Mills was trying to guard him down low, and he's begging for it. You can see him just throw it up anywhere around 11 feet. I'll go get it. And then maybe just a little unlucky with the foul called against him.
And that foul is the 4th on the USA in this quarter. So Australia's problem with being in the bonus is mitigated somewhat by that. Here's Bogut. They sag off him. Dellavedova's overdue. Did everything but fall. It's still loose. Getting after is Joe Harris.
Love that set from the Boomers. Really good movement. They've been getting good shots from it every time.
Just tightening up a little bit with the finish line in sight.
Walker, he fires, can't connect, and Bogut the rebound. Boomers are 3 of 11 from the field in this final term. Need a high percentage play, and Bogut gets it back for Ingles. Guarded by Turner in a mismatch. Might like his chances here, says, I do indeed.
Joey stepping up exactly when the Boomers need it. Hasn't shot the ball well so far in this offseason. It just goes bang.
Fans getting involved as well here.
Good defensive pressure, sensing the moment. Joe Ingles, as you mentioned, Hammer, as smooth as silk. Just a little step back there, gets his legs underneath him and knocks down the 3 to give the Boomers the lead. And then good trap. And the guys picks the ball up just over that centre line. The
Front court only. 15 shot
centre
clock.
line really providing a good advantage to run that trap.
He's allowed on
And
the line.
with the possession arrow, USA retain possession.
Dellavedova with 4 fouls and a mismatch problem here against Tatum, who gets in close but can't complete a. Bogut the rebound. This is Mills. Australia look to extend their advantage here. A little over 3 minutes left on the clock.
Big play case.
History beckons here in Melbourne as Mills retreats away from Tatum and they reset. They isolate for Mills and the triple. It's bang 3! Barry Mills is bang 3! Australia by 4, less than 3 minutes. And we've never beaten the USA.
And we're seeing something special. It's not just the fact that they've got the 4-point lead, but I'm more impressed with the way in which they're going about it. It's back to the system that we've seen in Rio that was so successful. The ball movement, the cutting action, the dribble handoff, getting it to the right people at the right time. All that's starting to come together.
52,079 in the house. Starting to make some noise as well. As we head to an enthralling conclusion of this 2-game series. It was the USA by 16 in game 1, 102-86. The Boomers with the fans behind them. They go to Barnes, and from close range, Barnes gets 2 back.
There's an easy one, but have a listen to that crowd in the background. We're up in the commentary box. We can hear it through the glass. The fans are on the edge of their seat, anticipating that the Boomers are going to beat the USA.
Ingles goes to Dellavedova. This is Bogut. Shot clock rolls to single numbers. Is Mills the man again? Oh, he's more than that.
Okay, beautiful recognition by Andrew Bogut. Created that separation for Mills. Found him with a nice cheap mid-range shot, and he's good enough to knock it down.
Walker, the 3 ball. It rattles around and jumped out.
It's a big stop.
Inside, 2 minutes to play. Australia by 4. Neither team can afford to foul here. Ingles, Mills, the do-it-all man. He rushes in a hurry, but it will count. Count the 2. Paddy Mills into the fans, and the fans are loving it back.
What a cut, what a pass. The Boomers have doubled the amount of assists of Team USA. They've done it by committee. Unselfish basketball, and have a look at that. Paddy Mills puts it on the glass. Too late, count it.
They love the emotion. He senses the moment, and he's come up huge.
27 for Mills, including 10 in this quarter. Donovan Mitchell needed that, the USA. He adds 2, but the margin's still 4 in favour of Australia. 90 seconds remaining.
Bucket here will make it tough for him.
Bogut protects the ball from Barnes. Dellavedova looking for Mills. Beckons him toward the ball. From the elbow, Mills. Wrecking machine, Paddy Mills puts Australia 6 up. A minute and a bit to play.
Oh, my. Great ball movement again, but a bigger shot. You don't play better D than that. Paddy Mills, too good.
Donovan Mitchell draws Bogut out and calmly ices 3. We've got a one-possession game.
Going to overtime, boys.
9 in a row.
Going to overtime.
9 in a row for Paddy Mills. And I say you keep milking it, keep going to him.
Here's Bogut, why not? Mills again, they can't contain him. Almost lost his balance, slapping away at it. Barnes, they almost forced the error. 4 on the shot clock. Joe Ingles needs to get something happening. It's a tough shot, and it's short. Shot clock expires in the background. 42 seconds to play, and the USA with a chance to tie it.
Just took a little too long to get to the point. The little deflections, the bobbling of the hand weren't crisp with it. And with that intense defense by the United States, they weren't able to get one off.
Timeout call. 42 seconds on the clock. Australia by 3. The USA with possession.
It's surprising. I think Aaron Baines is coming in for Andrew Bogut. That surprises me.
Me too.
Because Bogut has been sensational at both ends of the floor.
Well, you're talking sensation.
Call your timeouts. When you've got possession of the ball, bring the ball up. You have to wait for a dead play. So it's going to challenge Pop. It'll be a different strategy that they'll be working on. And this is great rehearsal for them for the World Cup next week as well.
We only get 2 in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, it feels like you've got a dozen in the NBA. It goes for
Of course.
Chant of defense goes up around Marvel Stadium. 52,000 in the house. A worldwide audience as well. Is Australia about to bring down the USA? Mitchell, 8 on the shot clock. Guarded by Mitch Creek. He elevates and it's short. But Tatum got after it. Ball knocked out of court and the USA will get possession.
And I actually take that back. I think Andre Lamaris has done a good thing. He's put Pop's put 5 shooters on the floor, and perhaps Baines with a little bit more better ability to get out and cover the 3-point line.
They let it fly, and Ingles has got it. Australia on the edge of the most remarkable win.
They need to foul.
And they do. Donovan Mitchell gets the foul. He's out of the game. 5 on Mitchell. He sits down. We've got 10 seconds, a 3-point lead, and free throws.
And we got it into the hands of our superstar. The person we want on the line right now with a 3-point lead is Paddy Mills. Wow.
Mitchell out, 12 points. And this wasn't on the script that the USA had.
I don't think it was on the script of anybody.
It was on my script. I had them winning by 5, 86-81. But I wouldn't have thought that the United States would allow Australia to give up perhaps around that 100-point mark. So they've done it in a lot different fashion. And this man here, Paddy Mills, as the 2 Australians go in to check out what play Pop's running.
I'm not sure Pop would be that happy about that.
Well, he's had some big moments, Paddy Mills, but right now, the way he feels about Australia, his love of his country, I don't know if he's been feeling it as much as he is right now.
This is amazing, Case. This really is amazing. What a statement from the Boomers. What a turnaround game.
USA rush up the floor. They come up empty. Here it is, folks. This is Australian basketball history. For the first time ever, Australia brings down the #1 team in the world, the USA, and they've done it by 4 points. It's 98-94 Australia. I see it, but I don't believe it.
Well, I believe it, Case. You've got to believe, and when you've got that man on your screen on your side, you're always going to be a chance. Such is the nature of the talent that this country can produce. 53-1 in exhibition games. The United States before tonight will chalk up #2 for the United States.
For the first time in 13 years, the United States are beaten. The men's team are down by 4 points against Australia. And this was a result. It's going to